So much stuff to get into today on the tee. U.S. Open, it's next week. We have one of our very own from the state of Wisconsin who has made it through. First time, I believe, since 2019, Wisconsin's going to have a representative in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, man, what a story it was. Longest day in golf. Harrison Ott taking down a monster field.
Yeah, in Columbus, so we'll be talking to Harrison Ott about that coming up in just a little bit here on the tee. But we're also coming off the U.S. Women's Open, which was right here in Wisconsin at Erin Hills. We were out there. If you want to go back, check out the YouTube page, check out the ESPN Wisconsin app for all of our coverage that happened during the U.S. Women's Open. But Maja Stark is a first-time major winner out of Sweden. She goes and takes down the field. Kind of had it on cruise control in the back nine. Had some challengers early. Everybody else fades. She stays strong. But really, especially on the weekend, Stephen, I feel like the storyline for me, and we can get to Maja in just a little bit, the storyline for me was redemption for Erin Hills in how it played despite not having any wind on Saturday and Sunday. It had people across the country raving. Brandel Chamblee's going out on Golf Channel and live from saying how he thinks Erin Hills deserves more championships. It was a spectacular weekend out at Erin Hills.
Well, we've always known the hospitality is A+. They know how to put on an event. It's great people who work there. The USGA is infatuated with Erin Hills in the same way that you and I are. So we know that more championships from the USGA perspective are coming back to that property. It's always amazing to hear what the players think. And, back in 2017, there was a lot of riffraff leading up to the tournament about the fescue being too high. And then it was about the course being too easy.
Kevin Na?
Yeah, I don't want to name names. I don't even want to give him the platform.
Well, I want to tell him to bleep off is what I want to do.
So then coming out to this event, it's at a different time of year, like just about a month less.
Couple weeks
before. Course is playing a little tougher, a little different. And shout out to Zach Reinecking and his staff. I mean, what they did with the grass out there is just incredible for the spring that we had here in Wisconsin.
And the winter.
Truly. And the way it looked on TV, the way the players talked about it, the way that it was the test that you and I know it can be, and it's good to see the best players in the world say, yeah, we see it. Like that's what this course is. And I don't even know, redemption is an interesting word because I think everybody knew it was possible. I think people were leaning too much on we needed big wins to change the course. I think the course had enough bite itself this week for the women that even without the wind, it proved to be the test that it deserved. Now, I think it might just be a better venue for women than men just because of the distance.
So that's kind of where I landed on this whole thing. I think that especially when you start taking a look at, and we've had this conversation before. I know Whistling Straits says they want to have another Ryder Cup. Well, 2041's open, but that seems to be going to the PGA's pet course of Frisco, right? Like that seems like it's going to go there. So the next open U.S. date for a Ryder Cup is 2045. The next open date, I believe, for the U.S. Open on the men's side is early 2040s as well. 2037 is the first open on the women's side. I feel like this might be a better test for the women. Because on the men's side, even when you tuck some of those pins and you don't have the wind that they didn't have this weekend, it's tough to really challenge men really without any of those variables because they can hit it so high, they can spin it so much that even if you get the greens rolling at 13.5 to 13 the way they did on Sunday, which is outrageous, I think for the women who don't spin it like that, especially from longer distances, right? Like 18's this true par 5. Instead of Justin Thomas being able to hit this outlandish 3-wood and get it home in 2 and somehow hold that green that we know can be so difficult. I think it is a better test for the women, and I hope that in 2037 or 2039, which are the next two open ones, I hope that the USGA rewards Erin Hills for that. I don't know if we're going to get that men's major at Erin Hills again, but I've got high hopes for the women's major because of the way, again, if the wind blows, then that gives you another variable. And if the wind blows, they probably don't use some of the pin locations that they ultimately did on the weekend. But the course really stepped up and showed that, yes, this is a major championship test. And you and I know that.
Yeah.
People at Erin Hills, Zach Reinecking, Chris Schoonover, John Morissette, all of our friends out at Erin Hills know that. People who've played Erin Hills know that. I don't know how many people outside of that Erin Hills bubble knew that, but now they do. And when you have someone like Brandel stepping up and now going, yeah, this is a great test. Hope they come back. Like, I feel that voice carries so much in the game that it gives me hope that we are going to be getting some more major championships on the professional side in the state of Wisconsin.
Well, and I think this is also an important thing to think about when you talk about Erin Hills. You have to talk about Wisconsin because Golf Digest just came out with their top 100 public courses again. Erin Hills is in there at number 10. There's now 11 courses in the top 100 in the state of Wisconsin. So,
what's the new one?
Lido and Sedge are both on there now.
Okay.
So that brought it to 11.
All right.
It's ridiculous. We're so spoiled here. But because of that, people are talking about Wisconsin. People are visiting Wisconsin. People are seeing Erin Hills in person on top of what they see on TV. A lot of these golf courses look good on TV. Erin Hills looks special. And I thought NBC did a fantastic job from a coverage standpoint with their new technology to go out there and showcase the golf course. I would love to move past the Wisconsins for beer, brats, and cheese curds and talk about Wisconsins for golf. And I think we're getting closer to that. And this championship is a great example of...
And cookies. I don't know if you saw the cookie special that they did on Saturday's coverage, but
I know the cookies.
the Erin Hills cookies are legit.
Chicken salad also very good. No, but I think that's an important way to think about the future of Wisconsin hosting these types of events because I think the secret is out, and the Erin Hills secret is certainly out, and the USGA loves being here. Fans show up. It's a big part of why events want to come to Wisconsin now. You make money because people are showing up. I was talking to an Erin Hills official yesterday or on Sunday at the final round. He said they actually exceeded their marks from an attendance perspective. That's a credit to people in Wisconsin. And of course, people around the world are traveling, but specifically for this event, it takes a lot of people in state to come out there and support.
I was wondering, because I ended up leaving a little bit earlier on Sunday. I had some other things, and I wanted to make sure I got back so I could watch the leaders and Maya Stark, kind of play the entire round. And I was wondering, I wonder if they were regretting having everybody park on site. Because it felt like they were going to run out of room.
Yeah.
Like to put everybody. And again, that's just a remarkable thing. But Maya Stark stepping up and playing golf the way she did, I mean, she was awesome on Sunday.
Such a deserving champion out there this week.
Especially with somebody like Nelly, who made a front nine push, breathing down her neck. She didn't feel any of that. She just went out, she played her game. Yeah, she makes bogey on 17 and 18, but she could. Don't have to do anything aggressive because she hit some balls into the left rough on 17 and 18. Hey, let's just make sure we don't do anything really dumb that really opens things up. And she was just steady and solid and wasn't making a ton of mistakes out there.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be so surprised about the performance we saw from Maya Stark. She's kind of one of that next wave of great golfers. And granted, Nellie's only 26, but she's 25, but you just haven't heard her name because she hasn't been around as long. But she took second at the Chevron last year, tied for ninth at the 2023 U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach. Like, Stark's been knocking on the door for a little while now. And
Solheim Cup member.
Yeah, and she goes out there and... we talked about this over the weekend. It's got to be nerve-wracking for some of these young players to just hear Nelly in your shadows, lurking. And Maya Stark was not afraid of the moment. She went out there and took care of business. She was steady. She was confident. She hit the shots when she needed to, and she didn't make the big mistake, which out there is something that hurt a lot of these players over the weekend who found themselves in contention.
Where this really flipped in my mind was on hole 2. Because on hole 2, both her and Julia, who she was playing with, who I think we're going to hear more and more about Julia, because, I mean, she was just bombing it off the tee. And she's such a young player that Julia Lopez Ramirez is, I think she's going to factor in with the distance and everything she has. But Julia hits a great tee shot. And unfortunately for Maya, she didn't. A couple of the tee shots started going left, so she's in the rough on number 2. Pins all the way back, and if you've ever played Erin Hills, everything runs back there. So with the inability to spin it coming out of the rough, it's a tricky shot. So Maya plays it, okay, I'm a little worried if this runs out because I don't want to shorthand, and she hits it short and has to hit before Julia hits again. And she hit this nippy little wedge, man. That's where I was on Sunday, watching some of the earlier groups come in because I wanted to see how they played with that pin all the way back there. Because it's a little half wedge, or if you hit it all the way up there, like Charlie Hull did, you got to hit a really precise chip shot. Julia doesn't, hits it over. She can't get up and down, makes 5. Where Maya, ends up making a 4, just because of the great chip shot she had. And that was a shot that tests your nerves. Like, hey, you got to pinch this thing.
Yep.
Like, you got to get this thing to check, and you got to get it to check at the right time if you want it to run out the way you want to. And she was able to do that, made the 3-footer for par, and she was off and running. So that, to me, was like the early test of, okay, how are your nerves Sunday of a U.S. Open? And that told me, okay, someone's got to go get her. She's not going to give this back. You got to go chase her down.
And it felt like Nelly was starting to chase. And the moment the tournament went to Maya Stark it felt like truly in a matter of seconds. I was following Nelly at the time. I watched her make bogey on 13 and Stark made birdie on 11 at the exact same moment, which gave her a 3-shot lead. And it was like, all right, this is hers. As long as she doesn't, find a way to cough this thing up and make a monster mistake on any of these big holes, namely 18 coming in. It's all Maya's. And, it was... You think about the hole that she played on 14, she's able to get there in 2, and, she's able to 2-putt her way to a birdie to keep her 3-shot lead. And after the event, I asked Maya, what was the one shot that won you the U.S. Open trophy? And for our Gruber Lofts' one call, that's all. Here's what Maya's response was. Maya, for years to come, you're going to stare at that trophy when you reflect back on this win. What's the one shot that earned you that trophy?
I think it's my putt on the green on 18, because it felt like there's so much that could go wrong. It's downhill right to left, and if I hit it too hard, then it was just going to keep rolling. So I was very nervous over that putt, and I'm happy that I just got it to tap-in distance. And I think that being able to hit that shot at that time, or hit that putt at that time, I think was the biggest thing I've ever done, because it kind of showed me that I don't have to, be affected by my emotions. I can just do what I'm supposed to do anyway. And if you watched her play 18, she could comfortably make a bogey, right? Mm-hmm. In her mind, she actually said...
She did the math wrong.
She did the math wrong. She thought a double would force a playoff with Nelly. So all of a sudden she's thinking about, all right, she's off the front of the green on 18. The pin is kind of middle left. If you go beyond the pin, you're dead. You're going to roll off the back. And that was
where Nelly went.
That was what her fear was going long on 18. Anybody who's played 18 at Erin Hills, that should be your fear.
Well, and she had to sit there forever because Julia was having all sorts. She went
almost
down
hit
there
me with that golf ball, by the way. I was standing
out of the bunker?
Yeah, I was standing right behind the green on 18. Here. Oh, you're not used to hearing pros go 4.
It's a tough bunker shot, right? Then she's hitting out of the scoring tent. The whole thing was fantastic. Again, I hope we see more of her going forward. But with Maya, she was so steady. And honestly, I end up being so disappointed in Nelly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take anything away from Maya because she went out and won it. But there were opportunities for her, and her putting, for her to be like, oh, I think I was hitting good putts. They just didn't go in. No, man, you're hitting bad putts. The 3-putt on 13, inexcusable. And then she hits, both Maya and her hit some spectacular shots into 14, right? Where they get home in 2. And I'm thinking Nelly has this putt sitting on the fringe from...
She almost had an albatross. It rolled right off the edge at 14.
It almost bangs the stick and goes in. Instead it runs by, 12, 14 feet?
Yeah.
That putt had zero chance of going, not even close. You have to scare the hole there, and she just doesn't. And she hits it to tap-in range, but it had no chance of going in after having an inexcusable 3-putt on 13
and on 6.
Yeah, and then on 18, she hits it. I understand she probably thinks she has to make eagle. I don't think anybody's holding the green with where that pin was on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think you were better off just hitting it out to the right and trying to chip it in. Instead, she tries to go for it, goes in the spot she doesn't go in. Because if she makes birdie there, we're in a playoff. So I was just disappointed with Nelly's course management and the way that she putted. Because otherwise, the way she drove and struck the golf ball, if she was an average putter, she wins this thing by 2.
Yeah. She 15.96 strokes gained tee to green. That was the best of any player in the field.
Yeah.
From Nelly Korda. She finished 52nd in strokes gained putting and 41st on Sunday.
Yeah, out of 60 players. 52 out of 60. Like, get that to average. You win this thing going away. And for her not to think the putting is not a problem was... Hearing that after the round was a little disappointing. But again, I don't want to take anything away from Maya Stark.
A sports psychologist thing, right? It could be.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. Oh, okay.
You don't want that Y word to enter your mind.
Well, I don't, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It's just you're not hitting good putts. Just like Scottie. Like Scottie used to be bad putting. He used to be a bad putter. And everybody, and I know we're going to talk about Scottie here in a little bit, but everybody used to say, man, he just hits it so well. If this guy gets to average putting, like he just doesn't lose strokes. If he's just neutral, he's going to win. Well, now he's a top 25 putter in the world, and guys picking off events left and right. He's winning signature events by 4 strokes.
And he's never been top 50 in strokes gained putting in his career.
Yeah, so, again, you can get better. I think you just have to admit it's a problem and try to figure out a solution. I think that's where Nelly is right now, has to figure out a solution to the problem that is her putting. And she's going to start picking off major championships left and right.
Yeah, Maya Stark, again, we have to give her the credit she deserves for winning this championship. Just to give you some of her stats for the week. Strokes gained tee to green, 5th in the field. This is all week, not just on Sunday. Approach, 4th. Greens in regulation, she was tied for 8th. Strokes gained putting, 5th. That's how you go out there and win.
That is being strong. Because, again, every USGA official you talk to is going to say, yeah, we want to test all 14 clubs and the one between your ears, right? All 14 clubs got to get dirty. So you have to be a well-rounded player. And that tells me she was the most well-rounded player throughout the course of the week, and that's how you win a major by 3 strokes.
Yeah, and one of the really cool moments after she won was, credit to the USGA officials. They know how to put on a tournament, by the way. Like, shout out to all of them who made our week really enjoyable out there as well. Right after the champagne celebration, she's having a spotted cow with the Erin Hills team and the USGA officials, and Julia Pine from the USGA hands her a phone, and it's Annika Sorenstam on FaceTime. I mean, how special is that? From one Swede to another, for her to congratulate her on her first major championship.
Well, because that's the idol.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, she's the GOAT of women's golf.
Yep.
Annika is. And then to be the GOAT of women's golf in your small, in your country, which and you look up and down that leaderboard, there's a lot of Swedish influence from Annika.
Yep.
Like, that's so sick.
And I was standing
awesome.
right there just watching, like, the look on her face of total shock. And she had said that Annika had texted her over the weekend wishing her luck. But to see that moment where she was looking at her phone and it's Annika Sorenstam saying congratulations on your first major championship. That's something that I will not forget. And I'm glad that the folks at Erin Hills walked off that golf course and this property after the work and effort they put in with a smile on their face. They certainly deserve it, and we thank them for all their help throughout this coverage and championship, and we hope we're talking about many more to come.
You can play Erin Hills Golf Digest 10th ranked public course in the nation, charming overnight accommodations, and a championship golf experience. Modern course whose foundation was laid eons ago. Not a lot of ground moved out there. Just fantastic golf course. The back nine, pure elegance, especially if you were watching the U.S. Open this last week. Erin Hills, championship golf in Wisconsin. You can plan your trip today at erinhills.com. Longest day in golf was yesterday. We catch up with somebody from Wisconsin, Harrison Ott, who qualified at probably the toughest place to do so. That's next on the T1. With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf and enjoy the Bog. On the tee, continuing yesterday, the longest day in golf. 36 holes of U.S. Open qualifying, and Wisconsin's own Harrison Ott is heading to the U.S. Open just a little over a week away, by the way, out in Oakmont as he joins us on the show now. Harrison, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, no, happy to be here, and thanks for asking me.
So you've won state opens, you've won the state am here, certainly in Wisconsin, but when you go to the Columbus qualifier, like, there's a lot of PGA Tour guys there because they're playing the Memorial the little day before. So you've got guys like Max Homa, like Ricky Fowler, like Cameron Young. Like, these guys have played in President's Cup teams, Ryder Cup teams. Padraig Harrington, a multiple-time major winner, is in that. Is it a little intimidating to be on that range, seeing all that those players have accomplished as you're walking up and you're all trying to accomplish the same thing?
Honestly, I think I was a little insulated from it. I don't know why. Ricky and Lanto Griffin were 2 groups ahead of me. I didn't see Lanto before, but I really only saw Ricky. I saw Kuchar early, but for some reason, being like the second to last tee time, I didn't really rub shoulders with a lot of them, which, I don't know if that was good or bad, but yeah, that was definitely kind of partly the reason I chose that sectional too is, yeah, it has a lot of good players, but they're playing at sight unseen typically. And, either way, it's good for me to get exposure to how they do things and just be around them a little bit. So I knew no matter how it went yesterday, I was going to kind of learn by osmosis through them. But as far as intimidation, I didn't have a ton, but like I said, I didn't really run into them either. So,
Harrison, when did it start to feel real for you?
Super weird, but I thought I had to get to like 8 under. I finished at 6. So I had birdie putts on 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And kind of burned the edge on 14 to 15. Didn't get up and down on a reachable par 5, 16. And then 17 and 18 are hard, but I had like a 12 and an 8-footer on each. And on both of them, I just asked my caddy, I was like, do I have to make this or am I watching my speed? And 17, he said, you do not have to make this. And then 18, I was kind of like, all right, let's figure out exactly where I'm at. I'm second to last group. Guys are done. Like, am I cozying this up there or am I trying to make it? And he was like, you're cozying up there, which was pretty cool. So I had a bad perception of where I was at and what I needed to do, which probably helped it also sink in later.
Harrison Ott from Brookfield joining us. He is a qualifier for the 2025 U.S. Open thanks to his 5th-place finish in Columbus yesterday. Top 6 went on, so he finishes just out of the playoff by 1. So you had obviously a great career here in the state of Wisconsin. I mentioned your accolades. So you go off to Vanderbilt, you play college golf there. What have you been doing with your golf career since college?
Yeah, I played I played 2 seasons on PGA Tour Canada and a season on PGA Tour Latin America. And then last summer after Latin America, I started doing a bunch of mini tour events, mostly the G Pro Tour, which is on the East Coast, and like state opens, Waterloo Open, and then a bunch of Korn Ferry and PGA Tour Monday qualifiers. So it's kind of what I've been doing this year as well. And liking playing in the States and trying to get exposure to the next level. But, yeah, living down in Franklin, Tennessee by Vanderbilt still and practicing down here for better weather, but love coming home as well in the summer. So
you're just trying to get experience. I mean, you're playing in the U.S. Open, man. Like, how wild is this?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. My wife was joking with my father-in-law on the phone after that she got a little starstruck by Matt Kuchar. And her dad was like, well, you better get over that, which I think was a good message to me as well.
I mean, just looking at the other golfers who qualified alongside of you, Eric Van Rooyen, PGA Tour player, Bud Cauley, PGA Tour player, Lanto Griffin, PGA Tour player, Justin Lauer, PGA Tour player, and Cameron Young wins in a playoff, PGA Tour winner, or a player. And then, of course, Harrison Ott alongside those names. I mean, I think this is what I love most about golf, Harrison. Are you aware of what your official world golf ranking is right now, by the way?
No, someone mentioned about what it was, but I have no idea.
Do you want me to tell you, or would you rather not know?
I do want to know.
2,651st in the world.
Oh, that's all.
And you're going to be one of 156 playing in the U.S. Open. I mean, there's no sport like this, Harrison. I mean, how wild is that to hear?
Yeah, it's funny. A guy in Ohio, reporter yesterday was talking about guys like me in the 2000s, and I was kind of like, dang, I think I made it up to like 1,400 at one point. That kind of stinks. But, yeah, it's funny. And kind of the conversation I had with that guy, it's just like the line is thin and yeah, like over a 4-round tournament. And I mean, a lot of them played it blind. Like they just know how to golf their ball every single day. But just knowing that my best can compete with their good or their best is pretty cool. So
Well, so what's the plan from here? As we talk with Harrison Ott, Brookfield Zone, he's going to the U.S. Open thanks to qualifying through the Columbus section yesterday for the USGA. What's the plan from here? Like, how early can you get out there? Are you going to take advantage of getting out to Oakmont as early as possible? Is it because this is so late in the process? Is it impossible to get a hotel room out there? Like, what are your next steps now to get ready for the U.S. Open now that you've qualified?
Yeah, I'm trying to take today to do like all that administrative work. So I booked my flight this morning. I'm getting there Sunday night and going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice. We got an email that said like the official U.S. Open week starts Monday. So I don't know. I'd probably have to call someone to see if I can get out there sooner. But I'm just planning to get there Sunday as of now, and then hoping to knock out lodging today as well. So that certainly seems like it's going to be a bigger trouble from what I've heard. So kind of looking at all the avenues for there. But yeah, I'm just trying to knock out that stuff today and then like physically prepare for it. So
you don't grind to this level without a support system, Harrison. Who was with you yesterday? Who's going to be with you in Pittsburgh at Oakmont? And what have they meant to your journey to get to this point?
Yeah. I don't know exactly who's coming to Oakmont yet, but as far as yesterday, my wife Grace was there. We got married in September. It was awesome. She decided to come. I was leaving at like 2:00 on Saturday, and literally at about 12:30, she was like, I think I'm going to go. I have off Mondays. I'm just going to go. So that was a surprise, and it was awesome. And then my dad was out there, and then my uncle was also out there, which was really cool. They've come the last few years, and kind of like seeing the other guys. It's a really good time of year for both of them to kind of have some freedom. So that was so fun. I mean, last year they drove 7 hours to Columbus. I played bad. We shook hands, hugged in the parking lot, and they drove 7 hours north. I drove 6 hours south. So that was kind of a sour way to leave it. So I'm glad it was cool to maybe go our separate ways in a better way this year. And then as far as Oakmont, I think some of the guys I grew up playing with are going, or have told me they're going. My best man texted me today. He lives in New York, says he'd love to come. My wife, her dad, my parents, my sister are coming. And then my aunt and uncle are also coming for sure. They already booked their flights and everything. So that's awesome. Who I know is locked in as of now.
Does your caddy need a caddy? Like we're available.
Yeah, I've been telling everyone I'll keep you in the in the hat. I'll figure it out today.
Harrison, I can't imagine what the feeling is. Congratulations, man. I cannot wait to watch and see what you do at the U.S. Open here at Oakmont. And again, just a little over a week.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks.
You deserve it, man. This sport is unbelievable, and the perseverance that players like you have to show to get to this point. It's a well-deserved opportunity. I imagine for you, this is the pinnacle of your career so far?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's weird because yesterday's it's golf's longest day, but it's one day. So that's kind of an odd thing to be like, the coolest thing in my golf career so far. And then, but I'm sure as soon as Monday through hopefully Sunday rolls around, it'll kind of be cooler and cooler by the day.
Well,
so
I mean, putting a peg in the ground at a place like Oakmont, I think that instantly becomes the best thing of your career. Right after you have this, which gets you there, but now you have the opportunity to play in it. That's going to be awesome.
Totally, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Go make some memories, man. You've already made us proud. Why not go win this thing at Oakmont? All right, give us a story.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
Awesome, man. Congratulations, Harrison.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys.
Harrison Ott joining us here on the tee. You can discover a beautiful lakeside course in Delavan, Wisconsin at Majestic Oaks Tee-Off on a course of over 2 miles of lakefront where wide fairways and challenging greens await. This lakeside 18-hole course offers a golfing experience like no other. Join them for the best golf family nights in the state where everyone can enjoy the game, cart, golf, drinks, snacks, under $15 a person. With several membership options, you can find the perfect fit for your lifestyle. Ready to play? Book your tee time today. LakeLawnResort.com and join them at Majestic Oaks Golf Course. This is not a drill. If you make a hole-in-one at X Golf inside of American Family Field, you could win the ultimate Brewers prize. Trip down Bernie's slide, nail the shot, you and a friend get game tickets and up to 5 trips down that iconic slide. Yep, hole-in-one. Suddenly you're living So this says fans' childhood dream. But I think it's just every fan's dream. I don't think you have to be a kid to want to go down Bernie's slide. We went down Bernie's slide last year. We're adults-ish.
I would do it again.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Book your swing. X-Golf inside American Family Field. Open to the public 7 days a week. So we were wrapped up at Erin Hills for the 80th playing of the U.S. Women's Open, the memorial going on, and they had that thing just unbelievably difficult. Like, only 12 guys finished under par. And Scottie Scheffler ends up ultimately running away. And he just continues seemingly to get better now that he's left the freak hand injury behind him.
He's played 12 events this year. He has 7 top 5s this year. His last 4 events, win, fourth, win.
The hell happened with the 4th? Just kind of threw that away at the Schwab.
Yeah, it's incredible what we're seeing out of the number 1 player in the world on the men's side. Back-to-back wins at Jack's Place, first to do it since Tiger, and 16 career wins now. And you just know when he is on the leaderboard on a weekend, he's starting to chase, and I feel like that's or the field is starting to fear him. And that's what's felt different about Scottie in the last, let's call it 12 to 18 months, is it wasn't just him holding leads, it's now him chasing down guys over the weekend.
Let's go ahead and listen to what Jack Nicklaus, the tournament host, one of the greatest to ever do it. He's well-versed when it comes to playing good golf. Here are his thoughts on the number 1 player in the world.
Great players are ones who rise to the occasion and ones who know how to play coming down the stretch in important events. And now, looking at the leaderboard today, he didn't have. I mean, Ben Griffin's a nice player. Sepp Straka is a nice player. Nick Taylor's a nice player. Those are all the guys that were there basically coming down the stretch, but he knows that those guys, are not in his league. Now, if he'd have had, I don't know who else it might have been, but if somebody else at the top, or Xander or somebody like that would have been there, he might have said, well, that might be a little tougher. I might have to do something. He didn't have to. And I think I always I just asked Scottie if he watched the leaderboard. He says, yeah, I do. I said, well, I did too. I always watched the leaderboard and found what my competition was, and I always felt like what level I had to play to fight that competition off. And sometimes you didn't have to fight it off because you knew they'd self-destruct.
I am someone who has typically fought against the Scottie Tiger narrative. I have. I've done it on this show. But the one thing I will say I think they have the most in common right now is when they have a lead on Sunday, it's so intimidating because Tiger, for all the spectacular shots that he would hit, if he had a lead going into Sunday, those mistakes would seem to go away. Right? Yeah. I mean, because he would hit some spectacular recovery shots too, but it seemed like, I'm just going to hit the fairway, middle of the green, 2-putt, miss the fat part of the green. That's where my misses are going to be. And if you wanted to beat Tiger, he's going to be damn near perfect. So you got to go chase him down. Same thing with Scottie. Doesn't make bogey. The dude doesn't make bogeys. So now if you're any of those players that Jack just listed off, okay, he's not going to come back to me. I have to go get him. And especially at a place like that, at Jack's Place at Memorial, that's nearly impossible to do. Pin your ears back and try to go find a bunch of birdies. There aren't a lot of them out there. Yeah. I mentioned only a handful of guys finishing under par.
There's not birdies.
Yeah, there's more mistakes than birdies, and it's tough places to get up and down from. So that's where that's where he becomes so tough. When he has that lead on Sunday, he's not going to make the mistake. You got to go get it.
Yeah, and at the PGA Championship, Rahm went out and got it, and he fell down in the stretch, and Scottie just held strong. It was interesting to hear Jordan Spieth. I don't know if you heard his comments about Scottie Scheffler's game over the weekend. I think it was Saturday going into Sunday.
I could not think of a more opposite game.
Truly, and you know, he appreciates consistency because he lacks that a little bit in
Jordan
this game
almost killed
right
a
now.
guy.
Yeah, he truly did. But he said he actually might have the best club face control he's ever seen of any player. And because of that, he doesn't make mistakes. He said a miss for Scottie is still like 25 feet from the pin.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to find yourself out of many, tournaments when your misses still leave you with birdie putts.
And that's where I'd say he might have Tiger, is like the consistency that he has. I mean, Tiger hit unbelievable shots. They've got Wagner going around the country doing the, taking the Tiger tour of, what shots can Johnson try to recreate from Tiger's 2000 season? There's not one shot for Scottie that I think ever sticks out of any tournament he wins. It's just the consistency that he has over those 4 days, where Tiger has, he got himself in trouble here. What can he, and he hits this unbelievable shot, right? That top level doesn't exist for Scottie that the way it did for Tiger. If we're making that comparison.
Yeah, there's no magician we've ever seen like Tiger Woods.
But what's more impressive about Scottie is he possesses a consistency that I don't think I've ever seen. I can't speak to, I didn't see Jack play at his peak or Arnie play at his peak. So I don't know about that. But in my lifetime, the consistency that Scottie Scheffler has, and I think that goes back to the club face control thing that Jordan talked about, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just spectacular.
What do you make of not just the wins that he has this year, but how he's won?
So
he's
what
won
the wins?
by 8, 5, and 4 strokes.
Yeah, I was about to say, so
the
the wins they're not by the skin of his teeth. I had to curl one in the way that Xander did when he won the PGA. No, it's he gets to 16, 17, and 18 at tournaments, and it's just, I can just change the channel.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that's going to be entertaining about this is, all right, what's Bennett up to this week? That's about the only entertaining thing of end of tournaments. This week, poop on his back.
Can we talk about Bennett? Let's give the kid his moment. He didn't ask for it.
Bennett Scheffler is the child of Meredith and Scottie.
Yeah, truly becoming the MVP of golf television.
Well, let's go ahead and listen to the interaction that Scottie and Meredith had after he won the tournament on Sunday.
Did you have fun watching him? What is that? He had so much fun watching you. He has poop all over his back, so be prepared. Sorry.
Oh gosh! If anybody has young kids, you get it.
If you've seen the video, you can see there's a big stain up the onesie up the back.
Yeah, and you got to. I expect a little better out of the Schefflers to have the emergency outfit ready, especially for the trophy presentation. But it seems, they're just going with the flow. You like that about Scottie's reaction of oh, okay, it happens.
That'll happen.
Truly, probably happened 4 times that day. And gosh, Bennett being at the PGA Championship in the score room with Scottie, he just hands Bennett his scorebook just to play with, to distract him for the 1 minute that he needed to, sign his scorecard to win the PGA Championship. And now he's, maybe taking his first steps on the green at Quail Hollow at 18 during the trophy celebration. I know that was a viral video. And then, poop up his back. Gosh, Bennett has experienced 8 wins in his lifetime.
Yeah.
8 wins.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's a lot. Kid hasn't been around all that long. That's for sure. Hey, we want to tell you about one of the courses we like to play, because we joined out there, the Wisconsin Country Club. Steven and I joined, and now they've launched the WCC Performance Academy. It's powered by Catalyst Golf Performance, Aretis Physical Therapy. It's the real deal. TrackMan, 3D Motion, Miha, EMS, everything you need to move better, feel stronger, and shoot lower scores, which is what everybody's trying to do. No assessments, no food and beverage minimums, just an incredible, challenging course. Top-tier amenities like tennis, pickleball, and a pool. Can't wait to get out there and play. I didn't get a chance to play a lot last week. We were busy with the Women's Open. But now Steven and I can go out, play some golf ourselves. Get started today. TheWisconsinCountryClub.com. Just a fairway away. Golf fans, listen up because this is for you. Spend an afternoon with us, July 15th at the Bog Golf Course for the 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open. You and 3 guests can hang out with your favorite ESPN Milwaukee hosts, play around at one of Wisconsin's most popular courses, and enjoy food and drinks thoroughly throughout the day. Open the contest tab in the ESPN Wisconsin app. Register for your chance to win this fan foursome with ESPN Milwaukee. A free round of golf with ESPN Milwaukee. Register for a chance to win right now with the ESPN Wisconsin app. I just want to put some finishing touches here on the tee as I don't know when we're getting another major championship in the state of Wisconsin on the professional side, Stephen, but we have plenty of USGA events that people are going to be able to come out and check out over the next decade plus.
Yeah, and across a bunch of different courses in Wisconsin as well. I know that, Steve Stricker's annual event is taking place next weekend up out in Madison at TPC Wisconsin for the Champions Tour, and then USGA is just infatuated with Wisconsin now. We joked with Mike Wan about it, but they'll be back in 2027 at Erin Hills for the U.S. Amateur 4-Ball, and then, that's one of 5 events that they're going to have through 2039. Just at Erin Hills alone, they're going to be back at Whistling Straits for a USGA event.
They've got the US AM in 2028, and then they've got a couple more junior championships in the 2030s up at the Straits.
Yeah, Sand Valley's going to be hosting the 2026 U.S. Mid-Am at Lido in September of next year. So, I mean, we're going to have plenty of great golf here in Wisconsin. When our next major is, we don't know. But I think that what we witnessed over the last week at Erin Hills is they deserve another shot.
I guess maybe I'm being wishful thinking guy. But when the PGA Tour announced last week that they are moving away from the staggered start for the Tour Championship, they also said that maybe in a couple years they might look at moving the Tour Championship, which is currently in August. I got to imagine Erin Hills, I got to imagine Whistling Straits would be interested in hosting something like that.
Yeah, and I also think that don't sleep on whatever the PGA Tour decides to do with their playoff schedule moving forward. There's going to be some changes for this upcoming year, but something like the BMW Championship that's starting to move around. They've been favoring the East Coast for it the last couple of years, but a September event in Wisconsin is peak season here.
Yeah.
And think about Whistling or Erin hosting a BMW Championship on the men's side. I do think that they proved this week they deserve to host another U.S. Women's Open.
Mm-hmm.
On the men's side, it might be a little more difficult at Erin Hills, but don't sleep on BMW Championship.
Again, Whistling Straits.
Gosh, a Ryder Cup maybe at Erin Hills. How fun would that be?
Okay, well, okay. Now you're proposing things that I don't have time to talk about, Stephen, because the show is wrapping up in 30 seconds. I could do another hour.
That's called a long
that.
tease.
That is a long tease because we're not going to get to it next week because next week we're back on noon, special 2-hour show as we get ready for the U.S. Open. Maybe Harrison Ott might have a little more time for us after he's had a chance to check out Oakmont.
God, how cool is that for Harrison and his family?
Yeah. They're going to enjoy. I think Oakmont's going to be great. Early reviews look like it's going to be brutally hard. We'll see if they make any changes to that. But noon next week, right here as we get ready for the U.S. Open on the tee.